the consistency is hard. Doing this consistently is hard. Um, but today is a little different. So I, um, if you, it's so funny talking to a camera and not knowing if anyone is actually watching any of this. Because you're talking to a person, but you don't know if a person's there. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so if you're familiar with my Substack, or me in general, I like to write, and I'm not the most consistent writer, and it's very much an infant practice, I guess I would say. Um, Although it's had some legs for a while now, but I like to write, and I feel like I'm still kind of in this mode where you hear about like people who write professionally, or someone who's writing a book, for instance, they get pretty routinized with how they write when they write. So at the same time every day, or they make it their job and they wake up and their job is to write. And that's very, very cool. I think I would like that to be like my job, that I wake up and all I have to do that day is write in whatever capacity that means. But I also sort of like what happens now with my process, which is sometimes I'll have a stretch in a mode where I'm writing consistently, where during the day I don't maybe there's like a reluctance to it where it's like I don't really want to do that thing, but I do it because I know it's good for me, because I know it'll help me process. And maybe I'll endeavor to write when I don't necessarily know what's going to come out. But the nature of my inspiration that I've still maintained is sort of like the lightning inspiration that you think of, that's very cliche, where a lot of the time I will wake up in the middle of the night and maybe I'll have a stretch of not producing anything creative for a long time, and I'll have something kind of hit me in a very real way, and I'll need to realize it pretty much in that moment. So, maybe like last week I had a dream and I really felt like it needed to be written about. And so I wrote about that dream at 3 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, something like that. And I kind of allowed that organic moment of process, or moment of inspiration, to move through me, which is a very romanticized version of the creative process. I don't think that I am completely in the pits of inspiration must strike like lightning, or, come to me in some sort of spiritual, unknown way. But I do still have space where that happens. And I kind of like that, because I think really great moments have come to me in ways that are not part of my set routine. And I'm sure really great moments have also come to me that have been part of that set routine, but creative products that feel like brilliance for me, what I would just define as my own brilliance, tend to come to me not when I'm sitting at my desk every day at 9 a.m. waiting for the magic to strike. That is something that I do for my sanity. That is something that's like keeps me sane. But it's not where like the really good stuff comes from, in my opinion, for me. Which is sort of shitty to say, because I feel like that's not what people want to hear. And I feel like it's not what like craft writers or professional artists like to tout. And I don't know if a lot of people have my experience, but again, I'm not a professional writer. I'm not an artist who makes money off of their art. So maybe that's why I have that, is because for me, the experience, maybe it is experience driven. Like the experience of that inspiration and the experience of that realization is much more profound for me. But no, I don't think it's just the experience. I think it is the product itself. Like the other night, not the same night that I was just talking about, but the other night, I finally had like the title of this collection of stories or collection of essays. The title piece came to me. And it's very weird because like I'd had this title for a really long time, and I didn't really know what to do with it. I just knew that it was a title, and I kind of like anchored to it in a very nice way. And by that I mean it sort of, it became an anchor in the sense that I didn't really know what it was going to become, but I knew it was something. And so then it was finally realized, and that was like years. That was probably 3, maybe more than 3 years ago. Almost 4 years ago. Almost 4 years ago. That title moved to me, and it's been there, and it just got realized into a thing where it's now closed. If I had been someone who had defined my practice as I must sit and wrestle with that thing on a time frame, I would have never gotten to what I got to the other night, which I'm very happy with. It feels like a brilliance. I would have never gotten that if 4 years ago I had fixated on resolving what that was. And I feel like the idea that you have to sit at your desk, no matter how long it takes, or sit every day and wrestle with the thing, I think that there's something missing to that. Anyway, very excited about that piece that kind of happened. Today, the reason why this video is a little bit different is because today I had a really nice morning routine. And then I decided I had like a line that I was enjoying, and I was like, I'll just go put 30 minutes to that or something like that. So I, at like 6 a.m, sat at my computer, put 30 minutes to that line and that idea. And I love what's come from that. And so now I'm kind of like, I had a few lightning moments last week after taking a very long hiatus from writing in any capacity, even journaling I wasn't doing, which is like breaking all the rules apparently. But then I had kind of like a moment where it sort of like came back to me, and then today I had this measured, more disciplined approach to the process of writing and the process of creating, and I really, really love what came out. And so I wanted to spend this time talking about what I produced this morning, and maybe I still will. I mean, it's not that long, but it's nice to kind of allow some fluidity to process and sort of allow myself the grace of a lot of time not journaling, not doing anything. I mean, I was doing these a little bit, and I was doing other forms of creative process, but it wasn't, I guess it doesn't feel the same. So maybe now I will be in a place where I'm writing during the day, every day, in the morning in some way, writing creatively. But I wasn't for a long time, and yeah, this morning it was very nice. It was like, if I could be someone who had the same routine every day and then produced creative writing that feels brilliant for me, it would look a lot like this morning looked like. But I'm not super convinced that will ever be me. I don't think that will ever be me. And I do feel like I have to just accept that I don't like a set routine. I don't like I do, but a lot of the time it feels like the set routine is like waking up every day and maybe brushing my teeth. And like, that's the routine, is like waking up and brushing my teeth. So anyway, when I write, I use like train tracks. And it's this like moment in writing where I'm like, I don't want to talk about that anymore. And I just want to like move on. I'm feeling like I just want to give a train track to myself here and just be like, I don't want to talk about process. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I just want to talk about what I wrote about today and why I feel like it's worthy of putting a video toward it. So the line, I'll read the first line that came to me. The line that came to me is like, "This place loves darkness." And I think there's like a lot of different moments of inspiration that came from that. It's very dark here now. We're about to have the clocks turn back. It's coming to winter. And a lot of what I am reflecting on is place and where I am, and being in the Northeast. In the wintertime, it is dark. And I think also we're kind of like poster children, poster place. We're a poster place maybe for like Halloween and spooky vibes. So I think on like a very, very, very surface level, that is what was kind of like coming to me. But I also think a lot of people comment on just a lot of like sadness in this part of the world. I think even like New York and Boston, which is, you know, our big hubs, it's just a lot of like known for angry people, sad people, cold people, hard people, all these things. And that's kind of like a form of darkness. And then as you sort of like peel that back, there's even more to that. I think I know a lot of people who couldn't wait to get out of this place because it just feels like it's like full of depression and addiction and yeah, I could kind of go on. So I think those are layers of that. And the reason why I love writing and the reason why I love the creative process in general is you can go in thinking that that's one thing. You can go in, you know, so you have like a line or an idea or a title, and that's like this compelling force that's like, I'm going to explore that. And it's a compelling force. And for me, I know part of like vision and the creative exercise is I start filling in these puzzle pieces in my mind in anticipation of what that thing is. And it looks a certain way. And a lot of the time, sorry, I still will never learn to stop the notifications on this computer. Anyway, you will have a conception of what it means to realize the vision that you have, which comes to you in a glimmer. And then you will pursue the realization of that vision and pursue finding the puzzle pieces and putting the puzzle pieces together. It's like this very cool thing where it's like, it's a puzzle, but you're making the pieces to the puzzle. And then it looks, for me, a lot of the time, looks very, very different than what you conceive of. That's not always true. Sometimes it looks very similar to what you've preconceived, but very often it's different. I'm gonna keep talking about this piece that came out today and not what the pieces last week that I was talking about. But so I was kind of going there with like the darkness and the Northeast, New England, etc. And then I started talking about witch burning, which feels like a kind of natural progression, and what witch burning meant and what it means to be a woman in this place, which is a concept and an idea I think about a lot. What it means to be a woman in this place, because we have this very, very dark history of witch burning, and more than just witch burning. This place is known for, like, a lot of Leave It to Beaver, or maybe Leave It to Beaver isn't as dark as what I'm thinking, but just a lot of, like, what's wrapped up in this, like, quest for perfectionism, this quest for an image that is very hard to maintain or very hard to actually, like, achieve and accomplish, and especially for women, and anyway, so that's a big one. And then I started getting into, like, punk, and punk is this other thing that I really like thinking about. And anyway, the thing that I was excited about talking about here is the song Chocolate by the 1975, which is having this whole resurgence on the internet. I love the 1975, and I love what they have started to like reframe and reshape for the concept of punk. Um, my understanding of the 1975 and punk is that like they have tried to like feminize punk, and basically the root of that I take is like, what is more punk than being a woman? Really? Specifically, like a woman and giving birth and all, just even just like menstruation is so crazy, and it feels like otherworldly, and yet the most gutturally, like distinctly earthy worldly. Yeah. Feeling like there's nothing more punk than being a woman. And yeah, this song Chocolate has made its resurgence on the airwaves, specifically TikTok. I guess I get a lot of inspiration from TikTok, so thanks TikTok for that. But it's had this resurgence of people making fun of it because you can't understand what he's saying. And I think this idea has been incubating for a very long time in my mind about this song, but passively because I don't care about this song that much. But the idea of writing a contemporary song with unintelligible language, to me, sources back to Cocteau Twins. And I remember the first time I listened to the Cocteau Twins, and it was love at first listen. Truly, love at first listen. The idea that you have these crazy bitches rattling off psychobabble and making a banger, just rattling off nonsense, is the most beautiful expression of the feminine and of the human experience that I can imagine. Just like, I just listened to that and I was like, this, a part of my heart, the puzzle of my heart, just gained a piece. The puzzle of my heart just gained a piece by listening to the Cocteau Twins. And I really hope, I really, really, really hope that the song Chocolate was directly inspired by the Cocteau Twins. I really hope that. For all of our sakes, for the sake of Matty Healy, the frontman of that band, for the sake of contemporary music, I really hope it was directly inspired by the Cocteau Twins and their beautiful expression of the divine feminine in the arts. Really. And to think that that starting line that I had this morning about darkness and reflection on my place here in my little nook of the world led me to reflecting on the song Chocolate by the 1975 and the Cocteau Twins. So specific. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And just, yeah, I just, like, I, like, had that moment where I came to the end of it, where I was just, like, gushing with pride in myself and joy in the world, and, like, just, yeah. I just, that's so cool. Now, if I could only get validation to know if Chocolate was directly inspired by Cocteau Twins, now that would be life affirming. But anyway, so now I'm trying to decide, do I put this piece on my Substack as like self-publish on my Substack, or do I guard it for some pipe dream that maybe I'll be able to publish a book someday? Publish anything, like, in a real way. I think for now I'm probably not going to put it on to this space because I love it too much to share it just yet. And maybe one day this will be in a collection of stories. And if everything is free, self-published, it's not even about the freeness of the dollars. It's about the access to my heart and my soul. And if everything is self-published on here, then why would I be able to publish it into something that someone can really put some skin in the game toward. So yeah, so that's my reflection today, and ugh, so fun, so good. I well, yeah, I'm sure I will have more, and if this has been interesting to you, inspiring to you, or honestly, if you have watched it, if you have watched it, please make your presence known in some way with a like or following my page or a comment or anything. Yeah. Okay.